Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Traveling Time with Dan, where we mix travel with history and with leadership, and of course, with me, Dan Blanchard. Today, I am at the New Haven Green in New Haven, Connecticut. This is the oldest and most famous town green in the country. We're talking 1638. All right, this is a national historic landmark, and it was known as the marketplace. That's right, the marketplace. All right, so going way back, right, 1638. It's obviously there's a lot of different things here. All right, one of the things that was here was a watch house. You know, that was like the guards were here, kind of like a security force, kind of watching, making sure everybody's like safe, you know, and all that stuff. So there's a watch house here. They had a prison here for a little while, right? They had a prison here. They had a school. A school was here for a little while, right? And they had not just the school, but guess what? Guess what? They had a succession of state houses here. Yes, New Haven and Hartford were co-capitals of Connecticut for quite a few years, and there was a bunch of different state houses here, succession of state houses, right? This field right back here, right? This is where Benedict Arnold drilled troops, Connecticut militia, New Haven militia here. He drilled troops here, and unfortunately, right, his first wife was buried here. That's right, Benedict Arnold's first wife was buried here. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, did you say this was a town green? Yes, I did say this was a town green. I'll explain that to you in a little bit. All right, really close to here is the Amistad Memorial, and if anybody knows New Haven, you know that New Haven is pretty much like all around us up here with Yale University, right? Yale University, New Haven, all around us up here. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about this park. I got to give you a little bit about this park. This park, all right, this park, you can hopefully see it right there behind me. It talks about the park. This park right here, for the first 150 years of New Haven, right? This park, everybody who passed away in New Haven was basically buried right here, right? We're talking lots of people. But eventually, you're going to get what's called a public health risk, right? It's overcrowded. People have diseases, people are getting sick, and they're saying something's got to be done. Now, there's a leader, a public leader here in New Haven. His name is James Hillhouse, right? If anybody familiar with New Haven, you know Hillhouse High School. New Haven's named Hillhouse High School after him. But James Hillhouse says, hey, we got to do something about the public health risk here. We need to change this. It cannot stay a cemetery, right? And they're going to create what's called the Grove Street Cemetery. And the Grove Street Cemetery is going to be the first planned cemetery in the United States. They're going to take up all the tombstones here. There was a lot of them, tombstones here. They're going to take them all up, put them right around the perimeter of the Grove Street Cemetery. All right, and there's some famous people that are buried in the Grove Street Cemetery. One of them is Eli Whitney. That makes a lot of sense. Of course, Eli Whitney is there. One that doesn't make maybe as much sense as Eli Whitney's Noah Webster, the dictionary guy from Hartford, West Hartford, right? Noah Webster's buried in Grove Cemetery, right, which is one of the oldest planned in the country, right? Now, I showed you over my shoulder here the center church. Now, the center church basically has the only visible remnants of the cemetery that was right here. If you go into the center church's basement in its crypt, you will see in the basement that this church was built over the cemetery. Yes, you go in the basement, you're going to see visible remnants. You're going to see tombstones in the basement of the people that were originally buried, and of course are still here, right? They were originally buried, they were still here in the church's basement. The church, they call it the Center Church Crypt, okay? Now this has got like a Lincoln, believe it or not, this church has got like a Lincoln connection. Abraham Lincoln was here and he heard a sermon, abolitionist sermon, anti-slavery. And Lincoln was like, you know what? We got to do something about this slavery thing. We got to do it. So this church right here over my shoulder, super famous church. There's actually three of these 1800s churches on the green. here in New Haven. All right, so, and this is fascinating. I got to tell you, jumping forward just a little bit, Hurricane Sandy 2012. Some of you may remember that. One of the huge historic trees came up, uprooted right here. And when it fell, the roots yanked up a bunch of skulls and human remains, just to kind of remind people that, guess what, right? The bodies were not moved. It was too expensive, too arduous. They couldn't, the wooden boxes disintegrated. The bones were scattered. There was no way. There was no way you get all those bodies up. And today, underneath people's feet in this New Haven green, there's still 5,000 to 10,000 bodies remains under there, right? And of course, New Haven has a ghost walking tour. People swear they've seen Benedict Arnold. People swear they've seen Midnight Mary. So that's just great stuff. That's going to happen here. All right, so if you have not been down to New Haven, right, in this area, you've got to check it out. Haven has so much to offer. It's a great place to travel and check out. I've just given you some history of this area, this New Haven green. And I like to give you some leadership too, right? And here's the leadership lesson I'm going to give you from the New Haven green and, of course, the Center Church. And my lesson is this. Are you ready for this? Great leaders must balance progress with respect for the past and have the courage to change, right? They changed this cemetery to a green, right? They recognized that traditions serve in one generation may not serve the next. I mean, I'm sure they didn't want to dig up those tombstones, but they did it because they needed to make sure the next generation was served healthy and would have a chance, all right? A chance of being healthy and happy, right? And all that stuff, right? So anyways, listen, thank you for spending some time with me tonight here in New Haven, Connecticut at the Green with my Travel and Time with Dan, where we mix travel with history and with leadership, and of course with me, Dan Blanchard. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's really, really cool. Very few people know that there's 5,000 to 10,000 bodies under their feet right there. I'm going to be back real soon with another great episode. And until then, take care and I'll see you soon.